All right, so I am Rob Indie Voyage, and again I am here with Jeremiah Ingham, the developer and programmer and designer of Venture Forth.
Hello.
As you can see here. Hi, Jeremy. So, Jeremy, we have some bats here.
Yeah. So, as you can see, the bat is one of the creatures that I've been working on recently. And just got added into the game. There's still a couple adjustments that I'm going to need to make with it. But as you can see, they're flying around, and I think they're coming along pretty well.
They do look pretty sweet, I gotta say.
Mm-hmm. So as you can see, the bat behavior, they kind of ignore you, and if you attack them, they will then become afraid of you and run away from you whenever they see you. And so as you can see there, when you attack them, they kind of just book it out of this area. They're like, I don't want to be here anymore.
Nice. So this is this the first creature of Alex's that you've brought into the game?
So I actually added the dragon before this. So the dragon's been in there for a little while. He was kind of our test creature in determining what artist I want to work with. And so we got the dragon in there, and that worked pretty well. And so I decided that Alex was the guy I wanted to work with. And so since then, this is the first creature that we've actually gotten implemented into the game, moving around and that sort of thing. And here you can actually see if you attack the bat and get his health low enough, he'll actually turn around and then start attacking you. And so that's kind of what you can see here. And so he's kind of dive bombing you.
Now, real quick, it's worth mentioning here. The character does not normally fly around.
Right, yeah, that's true. So this is kind of a little testing feature. I've activated a flight ability with the character, and so he can go anywhere without paying attention to gravity. And so that allows me to give you a good view of these creatures that fly around.
Yes, every boy's dream.
Oh, yes.
So you'd mentioned you did spend some time on AI behavior. Is the bat's reaction the only thing, or are there some other behaviors you've been working on?
The AI behaviors in this game, there's a lot of commonalities between them, and so just in general, like, this world is a somewhat complex world. It's very 3D, you can go in any direction. And so in order to program the behavior of these creatures, they need to be able to navigate this world. And so there's a couple of... the way that I allow these creatures to do it is, I think it's pretty cool, and it works pretty well, but it is somewhat complex, and so I've made some adjustments to it. There were a couple aspects of it that weren't working quite right, especially since up to this point, pretty much all of the creatures were like creatures that walked on the ground. And so designing a creature that can fly through the air and like literally go anywhere in the cave created some different situations that the AI didn't have to run into before. And so basically I've just been polishing it out and allowing the creature to make these decisions about where to go and how to attack you and that sort of thing.
And is that the pathing? Is that what you refer to? Yeah.
So pathing in general, when you're a creature and you know your location and you know where you want to go, you need to be able to decide how to get there.
And if you can float around like you, it really doesn't matter. Just straight.
Yes. Well, even just straight, because the bats are floating around also.
That's true.
And so, like, if you're in an open space, sure, that's easy. You just go straight from point A to point B. But if you want to get from this area of the steps to the abyss down there, you need to know how to get there.
I do want to mention, we should touch on this. The art style which is something that is not seen so much with the owls.
Yeah.
The bat has a body plus 2 floating wings.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the art style that you see with the dragon, which we'll see in another video, I'm sure. But that's the kind of thing. It's a callback to some older art styles in games, and it really is starting to look good, especially with Alex's spin on things.
Yeah, I think so. I personally really like the art style, and I think that Alex is doing a really good job of incorporating that art style and really making these creatures work with
totally.
this unique design.
and he dies.
That's a very strong creature up there.
Yeah. Yes, even with the machine gun in hand.
Yep.
You perish. So what else would you like to speak of here as we walk around the caverns?
Yeah, so one of the other things that I've been working on this weekend this week is sound. And so I've been talking with my sound designer a little bit, Juan, and with Juan, we're designing sound effects and that sort of thing. And one of the decisions that we need to make while creating sound effects is what kind of secondary processing we're going to do on them. So, like, as you know, this world takes place in a cave, and when you create sounds in a cave, there's like echoes and reverbs that happen from every sound that you make. And depending on what the geometry of the cave around you is, that type of echoing and reverb will be different. And so when creating sound effects, we need to make the decision whether or not we want to put those secondary effects built into the sound effects where they don't change regardless of where you are in the cave, or if we want to do it programmatically so that we can change the reverbs and echoes dynamically. And so this last week I kind of looked a little bit into what Fmod's abilities are in adding these secondary effects, and it's actually relatively straightforward. And so there's some reverb parameters that we have control of while the game plays, and so I've been playing around with that, and so you can kind of hear a little bit of that in the sounds that are playing. They sound like they're echoing and reverbing off of the walls and whatnot. So it's pretty cool.
When you're wearing a really good pair of headphones or in a good speaker system, when you walk through a hallway, it feels like a hallway, and then you open up into an expanded area, it feels like more of that open cavern sound.
Exactly.
Very cool.
And so I think that does a lot to enhance the immersion of this game. You know, it really sounds like you're in a cavern.
Excellent. Yeah, and I'm looking forward to you guys both getting together and tweaking that and just making it absolutely perfect to the whole cavern experience. It's going to be pretty awesome. Now, you mentioned you also got some new tracks in here.
Yeah.
You could touch on that.
So I'm working with Peter Brown, and he's creating the music for this game. And I've been working with him for a little while, and we've done some experimenting over the time that we've been working together. And I actually recently went back to some of the old files that we had worked on in the past, and he had actually created some of these other tracks in the past that I actually forgot about because for whatever reason we decided to not use them at the time, and I hadn't looked at them since then. But with revisiting sound specifically, I went back to some of these old files and I was listening to them, and I'm like, wow, this is really cool. So just in general, I really love Peter's stuff, and so I'm throwing some of these old tracks that I have back into the game, and I think that they add some very cool variety, and I personally like them quite a bit.
Oh, definitely. So what are you planning on adding in the coming week or two?
So, the Alex has the artist Alex. He has completed a couple more of the weapons that we're going to be adding to the game, as well as creatures. And so, for example, we have the Gatekeeper bow, which is that machine gun bow that you see. That still has a placeholder model, and Alex just completed the model for that, and so I'm going to be pretty excited to show that off, as well as another really cool bow that we've been working on, which I call the Kraken, which Alex actually came up with the inspiration for it. It was originally started out as just an idea for a water-based bow, and he came up with the idea to give it a Kraken theme, which I think looks super cool, and I'm going to be really excited to unveil that. But essentially, what the special abilities of this bow are is, one, the projectiles that it fires are actually going to not be affected by water. So in the underwater areas of the game, you'll be able to actually still shoot arrows and kill things. And beyond that, it'll actually shoot homing projectiles. So when you fire your bow, it'll see the closest enemy and automatically home to it. And so I'm very excited about this piece of equipment.
Yeah, and so too should be the adventurer here, to have homing missiles in a cave.
Yeah, so definitely, especially in some of these large open areas, the homing arrows will be quite useful.
And here we see you finding a secret passageway.
Yes. Well, this is actually just some secret loot that was hidden in the walls there.
Well, that's the best kind.
Yeah, I know. And so, yeah, it's pretty cool there.
Yeah, I'm looking very much forward to seeing some of this cool new stuff that's coming out from you and Alex. Are there any other plans that are nearing that you're looking forward to working on?
Well, so like I said, we're going to be adding that new equipment, and then there's also a few new creatures that we're going to be adding, such as the genie and the skeleton, and well, we're working on a number of creatures right now.
Yeah, and we've released a few graphic depictions of these creatures already. I can post them for you folks out there. Yeah. And you'll take a look, and then delight when you see them in motion in the game. Yeah. Because it's always fascinating. I got to mention this level, because playing this level without the superpower here it's just ridiculous. And is this the Gatekeeper bow that you would normally get?
Yeah, so that's where you can one place that you can obtain the Gatekeeper in the game legitimately.
As opposed to just cheating.
By the way, that music track back there was one of the older tracks that I've brought back, and I personally like it quite a bit.
Ah, very cool. All right. I love these rooms. Every single one presents a unique challenge, be it in the monsters that are there or just in the architecture. Yeah. Did you have a good time designing some of these levels?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, essentially I kind of started with the various mechanics of the game, and so when coming up with ideas for these levels, I started with how can we highlight the special abilities that you can acquire and that sort of thing and make use of. And so there's quite a few areas that I have yet to implement, but I'm very excited about.
Yeah, and me too. Count me among the excited folks to see this stuff come to fruition.
Yeah.
I think we are drawing to a close on this particular video, so thanks again for your time and for explaining to us all this fantastic new work that's coming out.
It's exciting.
Cool. We'll talk to you again next week, Jeremy.
All right, sounds good.